Welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd, and welcome to Game 2 of our Union Trivia Podcast. And like I told you guys last episode, there's going to be a lot of new people in this competition, a lot of old faces. And one of those new people, this isn't his first time on this podcast, but it is his first time participating in this Union Trivia Podcast series. He is one half of the Doopybrothers Podcast, Luke. And then facing off against Luke today is a guy who I called in Season 1 the favorite to win this thing. Maybe he'll be a favorite to win Season 2. And that is Mr. Ryan. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back on the podcast. Season 1 was a blast. Unfortunately, I got knocked out in the second round by Rich, but I'm looking for a redemption today, and I'm looking forward to it.
How are you doing today, Luke?
Good. Yeah, I'm excited to, be my rookie year for the trivia contest. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so excited. I think AJ hit me up first, and then he was like, "Can AJ and Luke and I, can we be teammates?" And I was like, maybe in the future. And then you said, "Yeah, I'll come in and participate." And I was like, when I was doing the drawing and everything, I was like, "Are we going to get an AJ Luke matchup right away?" It did not happen, but maybe you win your game if AJ wins his against Mike Thomas. I don't know. Maybe the drawing.
I think I'd be okay with that. I think I'm the favorite in that, so I just don't think he's going to make it that far. So yeah, we'll see.
We will see indeed. But just like I told everybody last episode, for the round of 16, we're going to be doing themes. And so tonight's theme for Luke and Ryan is going to be the 2014 Philadelphia Union season. Now, the questions will deal with everything in the regular season unless I say otherwise. So just keep thinking regular season unless I specifically say Open Cup, playoffs, etc. But before we get into the show, there was some news a couple of days ago that El Brujo signed a contract extension with the Philadelphia Union with an option of for the 2023 season and 2024 season. And I said, it's crazy because El Brujo, one season with the team, gets a contract extension already. And that just tells you right there how important he was for the Union last season. And you'd love to see them pay guys with the hard work that they had. I know Kai Wagner got a contract extension a few weeks ago, and El Brujo, Kai Wagner, they had huge seasons for the Union. And Ernst Tanner says, "Here you go, guys. Here's a contract extension." And I know some people say, well, yeah, they're getting paid more money than they did, which is true. And then some people say that, well, they're only signing a contract extension so we can get more money if we sell them to another team. So we'll see what happens. I think Kai Wagner has a higher chance of getting sold than El Brujo because from what I'm hearing, it's pretty hard for El Brujo to get into Europe because he doesn't have passports and everything to get over there. But, things can change and whatnot. But what are your thoughts first, Luke, on El Brujo's contract extension?
Yeah, no, I was happy about that. I think he was so fun to watch last season. He definitely became somewhat of a fan favorite. So I think it makes sense. And also, looking at the depth of the defensive midfielders on the rosters, it makes sense. He's kind of our go-to guy. Without him, the team looks a lot different. And I don't know what Orovitz is going to be like this year, if he's even going to exist this year. But, I'm happy to have El Brujo.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, like Luke said, El Brujo was a blast to watch last year. His, the energy he brought to every single game was great. His aggression, the Philly mentality that he has, I think everybody kind of soaked up and loves. So I'm happy to see him back. And, he brings a lot to the table of physicality, defensive skills, and he can make that final pass to spark the offense. Another couple of years of El Brujo is great to me.
Yeah, I think the one thing all of us and the listeners included can all agree on, hopefully he can get less yellow cards because he's a guy we saw who's not afraid to put in a challenge, and he'll get a yellow card every now and then. And I know the Brotherly Game, who you guys are connected with, Luke, your Doopybrothers Podcast, they came out and put out a stat that said that the Union, I think, were 5-2-2 when El Brujo wasn't playing, and I think they won 14 games, something. I have to look at it, but they didn't play too bad when he was missing, when he went away with Venezuela, or when he was missing time due to yellow cards. So, like you said, super excited to have him here because the depth behind him, so it just makes sense. And the one thing Luke and I were talking before you joined, Ryan, was we just want some off-season signing announced or something. It's hard to put out content when there's no news. It's cool, the contract extension. Jay, you can talk about Brendan Aronson, Mark McKenzie, but come on, a couple of weeks ago, Ernst Tanner said, yeah, we're going to announce a left-footed center back here soon, and it's been 2-3 weeks since Ernst has said that, and it's like still no news. So hopefully we get something sooner rather than later.
It's fun to talk about Aronson and stuff, but I get so excited to talk about new players and to over exaggerate how important and exciting they're going to be. But it's just fun to talk about that stuff. So hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can't even get like a rumor or anything. It's been so dry. Like, usually we hear like, oh, all right, we got some interest in this guy. We got some interest in this guy. But I've heard zero. Like, there's been nothing. It's like been one of the like most boring off seasons in a while, aside from the Aronson and McKenzie stuff. But like, no draft picks, no nothing. So, guess we just gotta be patient. Faith in Ernst and Jim and the crew and what they do, but I gotta say, from a fan's perspective, it is getting to be a bit frustrating so far.
I just want to watch a highlight reel with some crappy techno behind it. That's all I want.
Yeah, right. Especially, I mean, seeing how much money the Union got from the sales of Mark McKenzie and Brendan Aronson. It's like, yeah, these guys, we have money to spend. Yeah, a lot of that money is going to go back into the academy. It's going to go into the money that Jay Sugarman lost last year because of COVID and not having fans in the stadium. But they still have more money, I feel like, even with all that, to go out there and spend money on players. But like I said, hopefully sooner rather than later. But let's go ahead and get into the first round of categories today, which is 5 and 25. So like last season, last episode as well, we'll be starting off 5 and 25, where 5 and 25 is where I ask each of you guys 5 questions and you have 25 seconds to answer the question. The clock starts after I read the first question. If a contestant doesn't know the answer, they can say skip, and we can go back to the question if time permits. Each question will be worth 2 points each. And Ryan, we're going to start with you first.
All right, let's do it.
All right, and like I said, the timer starts after I read the first question. And the first question for you, Ryan, was, who did the Union beat on penalties in the semifinals in the 2014 Open Cup?
Pass.
Who led the Union in goals in 2014?
Sebastian Letou.
Who wore number 6 in 2014 for the Union?
Connor Casey.
How many yellow cards did Fabinho have in 14?
6.
How many wins did the Union have in 14?
8.
Who did the Union beat on penalties in the semifinals in the Open Cup was the last question, and the buzzer is now went off. I'll go ahead and answer that. So who did the Union beat on penalties in the semifinals in the U.S. Open Cup? That was FC Dallas they beat, which the score was 4-3. The Union won on penalties. The next question I asked you was, who led the Union in goals in 2014? That was indeed Sebastian Letou. Do you know how many goals he had that year?
Like 10, maybe 10, 11.
He was 12. He had 12, so you were 2 off. Who wore number 6 in 2014 for the Union? You're right, that was Connor Casey. How many yellow cards did Fabinho have in 2014? I was really surprised you got this right. That was 6. You're right, and he led the team that year.
Shot in the dark.
Yeah, I was like, he said 6. Holy cow! Like that caught me so off guard. And then, how many wins did the Union have in 2014? The answer to that one would be 10. So Ryan, off to a hot start because you went 6 for 10, 6 points. You went 3 for 5 on that, so not bad at all, Ryan. So Luke, you've got some work to make up, but are you ready?
Oh boy, yeah, let's go for it.
Here we go. Like I said, the timer starts after I read the first question. So your first question, Luke, is who did the Union lose to in the 2014 Open Cup final?
Seattle.
Who led the Union in assists in 2014?
Maidana.
Who was the Union's first pick in the 2014 Super Draft?
Pass.
How many shoutouts did McMath record in 2014?
3.
How many losses did the Union have in 14?
10.
Who was the Union's first pick in the 14 Super Draft?
Nothing.
Yeah, so we'll start with that. So who was the first pick in the 2014 Super Draft for the Union? That was Mr. Andre Blake.
Oh,
first round
I
pick.
was there.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. That's
pulling your hair out. How many shutouts did McMath record? The answer to that was 5. How many losses did the Union have in 2014? That was 12. The first question I asked you, who did the Union lose to in the 2014 Open Cup final? That was, unfortunately, Seattle Sounders, so you are right. And who led the Union in assists in 2014? That would be Christian Maidana. He had 11 on the season, so not bad. You got 4 points there. You went 2 for 5, and this is still anybody's ball game, so Yeah, I know you wish you had that Andre Blake one back. I was like,
I took a picture with him that day. I can't. I forgot what year that was. Man,
yeah, it's been
that's
so long
frustrating.
ago, right? I mean, it's crazy
Yeah.
that he's been here for going on 7 years now, and
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much about the goalkeepers that year because I think you guys will notice a theme, especially here in True and False. But just keep that in mind. But the next category is True or False, and this is self-explanatory, guys. I'll ask you guys each 5 questions each of True and False. Each question will be worth 1 point each. And Luke, we're gonna stay with you. So are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Question number 1: True or false? The most red cards the Union received in one game in 2014 was against Colorado.
True.
That was indeed true. That game ended a crazy game, by the way. That game ended 3-3, and Akugo and Michael Lahoud, they both received red cards in this game. I think Akugo got a red card in the 93rd and 94th minute, and I think this has only happened 2 more times in Union history. I mean, it's pretty rare when you see a team record 2 red cards in one game, and somehow the Union didn't lose this game, so props to the Union for that.
Nice.
I did witness a 2 red card game down in Atlanta.
You went to that?
A couple of years ago. I was actually at that game.
You remember the players?
What?
Do you remember the players that recorded the red cards that game?
Oh, Madunjanin and Bedoya.
It was indeed. Yeah, I think
that game
Harris
was
got their
wild.
red card first, and then Budori got his right after, right?
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was a crazy game, and maybe I'll add that in to later round. Maybe I won't. People that are listening, just remember that. But here we go, Luke. Question number 2 for you, true or false? The most shots the Union had in one half in 2014 was 20.
False.
That was true. I was so surprised to find that out because that's a ton of shots to take.
That's
And
crazy.
I think that's the most shots they've ever had in a half in team history. And that came against Vancouver on July 7th, all in the second half. And that game also ended 3-3 with Connor Casey scoring a brace that game. Question number 3, though, for you, Luke. True or false? The Union had 2 players on the 2014 roster that were born in France.
True.
That was false.
Dang it.
So, Sebastian Letou, you had Vincent Nogueira, you had Hopnot, and this is the one, I'm so glad I went back and checked this. Mboli was born in Paris. Yes, he
Oof.
was the goalkeeper for Algeria, but he played for the French national team for the U16s and U17. So I was happy I went back and looked at this. So that, like I said, that answer was false. Question number 4 for you, though, is true or false? Shannon Williams led the Union in game-winning assist with 3.
I'm gonna say false.
That was true,
Oh, dang.
which also surprised me that
Yeah.
a defender led in game-winning assists. I would think Christian Maidana, like you said earlier, he had 11 assists on the year when you got that right in 5 and 25. Or I was thinking maybe Sebastian Letou, but it was Shannon Williams with 3 assists on the year that were game-winning assists. But your last question, Luke, for true and false is Mboli recorded 1 clean sheet for the Union in 2014.
I'm gonna say false.
That is unfortunately true. He had 1
I
clean
thought it was
sheet.
gonna be 0, honestly.
Yeah, I know. When I looked that up, I was also surprised because I mean his time here in Philadelphia was terrible. And Ryan, don't worry, you're going to be having some goalkeeping questions coming your way in true and false as well. But his only clean sheet of that season came against Houston, which ended 0-0. So didn't have much action that day, which thankfully for the Union, because anytime it seemed like shots came his way, I mean he didn't know what to do with the ball. So.
Right.
But Luke, you went 1 for 5 that round, which gives you 5 points. So you picked up a point, which isn't too bad. But hey, you're still in this. And Ryan, we're going to you. So you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Question number 1 for you, Ryan. True or false? The Union had 3 homegrown players on the roster in 2014.
I think that's true.
It is true. Do you know the players?
I know Zach Pfeffer.
Yep.
That's all that's coming to mind right now.
There was also Hernandez and then McLaughlin. So that was the 3 on the season for the Union that were homegrown players. But good thing I didn't ask you to name the 3 players. I just asked you, did they have 3 or not? And you got that correct. So here we go. Question number 2 for you, Ryan. True or false? Andre Blake and Mboli both recorded the same amount of saves for the entire 2014 season.
That's oddly specific, so I'm going to go true.
Yeah, it is oddly specific. It is true. They both had 7 total saves on the season, with Andre Blake only playing in 1 game in 2014, while Mboli played in 4 games. And like we just said a minute ago, I mean, Anytime a shot came his way, he did not seem comfortable catching the ball, saving the ball, throwing the ball out. Because I remember when he just gave the ball away cheaply against Chicago, and Chicago ties the game up in extra time. I mean, just what a terrible signing. And it was just the goalkeeper carousel, I think they called it back in 2014, with 4 different goalies on the roster. I mean, it makes no sense to me when you spend your number 1 pick on Andre Blake, which was a great choice, but then you bring in Emboli. But hey, the dark days are behind us, hopefully.
I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely. But question number 3 for you, Ryan. True or false? The Union had 4 players on their 2014 roster that were born in Brazil.
I'm going to go false.
It is false. They only had 3 players that were born in Brazil that year: Fabinho, Leo Fernandez, and Pedro Ribeiro. So only 3 players on the season that were born in Brazil. Question number 4 for you, Ryan. True or false? The Union won more games on the road than at home in 2014.
I feel like I remember hearing this. That's true.
It is
So I'm gonna go
false. It is false.
Okay.
So the Union had 6 wins at home that year, and they had 4 on the road. Only 10 total on the season.
All right.
But your last question for true or false, Ryan, is the longest winning streak the Union had in 2014 was a 3-game one.
True.
That is indeed true. And that 3-game winning streak started with San Jose, and then the Union played Toronto back-to-back, and then they lost the next game after playing Toronto a second time. So, Ryan, not bad at all because you went 4 for 5. That gives you 10 points. And, Luke, you have 5 points. And this next category, name the Union player. I mean, it's all to play for. You guys can make up some serious points. But before I explain that category, how it works and whatnot, I do want to bring up one other point, one other topic, which is there's talks that MLS, we know, is supposed to start in April. But now there's talks that MLS the players might get locked out by the league because they can't agree to a new CBA. So are you guys concerned by that at all? Do you guys think that they're agreed to a new CBA? Because we saw the mess that the players in the league went through last year agreeing to a new CBA. It finally got approved. And then the league says, I think in December, says, hey, look, we're going to tear up that CBA because COVID, and we want a new CBA. And now the league's threatening a lockout to the players. So do you guys see the league starting in April? Do you guys think that the players will give in and accept what MLS is offering? No thoughts?
I mean, I'm nervous because anytime you hear about a potential lockout, it's just, not it means things aren't going well. But I feel like they have to make a deal. Like it looks so bad on the owners, and like I think they couldn't afford a lockout for like money wise and just like PR wise. I think they have to make a deal. There's no really other option.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan.
It might just be me, but I could have sworn I saw something that said they came to an agreement today.
So the players made that offer, but I don't think the owners like accepted it yet. But there's like the players made a counter offer. I don't know if it was accepted yet, but it looked like seemed like getting closer.
I mean, that definitely sounds promising.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we all hope they can play this year. Lockout would be awful for fans and the sport in the United States in general. But no, I have high hopes that everything will get sorted out.
Yeah,
and I have faith in everybody to get the deal done.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, I think the thing that concerns me the most is when you look at players internationally, like, now, granted, I'm not sure how much they pay attention to what happened last year between the league and the players and now what's going on this year. But to me, that kind of tells me, well, yeah, we want the best players playing in MLS, where we're seeing a lot of young South Americans come into the league, or you were seeing the Union go and sign young, unknown European players come into the league. Well, it kind of scares me that, just back-to-back years that the players and the league are continuing fighting over CBA and everything. And I feel like that could potentially be a turnoff to some of these players internationally. Like, yeah, why do I want to come play in a league where it seems like every year that there's a threat of a lockout? Like the players, the league, they just can't get along and everything. Why do I want to go join a league where I don't even know when I'm supposed to start? Where over in Europe, they say this is when we start, this is when the league ends. Where in MLS, last couple of years, that hasn't been happening. So, yeah, that's my big concern probably is just attracting international people. Like you were saying, Luke, just the whole PR aspect. I mean, it would be a nightmare for the league if they go into a lockout.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, man. I've never heard of a lockout type situation in leagues outside of
Yeah.
America, like in any sports. So that's interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, granted, I mean, these players are going to let their agents deal with stuff like that. But at the same time, too, if some of them pay attention and everything, I mean, that's got to be something that they're thinking about. Like, why should I go through that where, like you said, it's not happening in other leagues around the world? So, yeah, just something for you guys to think about. But like I said, the last category for tonight is name the union player. So in the final category, contestants will go head to head against each other in guessing the union player I'm describing. I'll give 5 clues and contestants can buzz in. Whenever they think they know the player, contestants will buzz in by saying their own name. If a contestant answers wrong, that will freeze them out until the next question. Each question will be worth 3 points each, except clue 5, which is when I give you guys the player's first name. That will just give you 1 point, so that's different than what I was doing in Season 1, Ryan. And just remember, guys, the players that I'm describing all played for the Union in 2014, but what I describe might not have happened in 2014. So any questions from you guys?
Got it.
Here we go. Well, player number 1. Hint number 1. First overall pick in the 2007 MLS Super Draft.
Ryan.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Murray Sadu.
Jesus. Yeah, it was indeed Murray Sadu. Wow, that was fast, Ryan. Because the
Impressive.
other hints. Hint number 2, joined the Union on loan from Stoke City. Hint number 3, was teammates with Ali Bedoya at Rangers in Scotland. Hint number 4, scored the Union's first goal in the 2014 US Open Cup final against Seattle. Hint number 5, first name Maurice. Maurice Adu is that player. And wow, Ryan, I mean, if
Run away
you
with
get
it.
this, yeah, I mean, if you get this next one right, Ryan, I think looking at the math real quick, I think you wrap this up. But Luke, no pressure on you. You know, you
we
get
go.
these next 4 right and pull up an upset, maybe.
We got it.
Here we go. Player number 2, hint number 1, is current technical director for Louisville City.
Luke.
Go ahead, Luke.
Danny Cruz.
It is indeed Danny Cruz.
Yes.
You needed that, Luke. Huge.
Yeah.
Hint number 2 for that was scored 2 goals a minute apart against Seattle Sounders in 2013. Hint number 3, traded from DC United to the Union in 2012. Hint number 4, jersey number 44. And hint number 5, first name Danny. Danny Cruz is the player, so that's huge, like I said, for you, Luke. And here we go.
Right.
Player number 3, hint number 1. He has played 220 games for the Union. Hint number 2 is a defender.
Luke.
Go ahead, Luke.
Ray Gaddis.
It is indeed Ray Gaddis. So there you go, Luke. You're getting into a rhythm
All
right
right.
now. Hint number 3 was graduated from West Virginia University. Hint number 4, jersey number 28, and first name Ramon. Ray Gaddis is the player. And guys, it comes down to these final 2 questions. Anybody's ball game still to play for. With player number 4, hint number 1 is a forward. Hint number 2 is 7th all-time goal scorer for the Union.
Luke.
Go ahead, Luke.
Connor Casey.
Wow. It is indeed Connor Casey.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
It is coming down to, like it has so many times in this competition, to the last question. The other hints for people that are listening, hint number 3 was played for Dortmund. Hint number 4, former interim coach at Colorado Rapids. First name Connor. Connor Casey is the player. Now, Shelby is doing the math. She's just giving me the math. So, Luke, you were up by 1 point. You have 14.
Ooh.
Ryan, you have 13. So, like I said, when I give hint number 5, that's 1 point each. So just be thinking about how you might want to play this, Ryan. But, man, this is an intense game. So
Pressure is
props
on.
to you, Luke, for just making your way back from this. But here we go. Player number 5, hint number 1, spent a total of 4 seasons with the Union. Hint number 2, recently announced as a new assistant coach for Trinity University in Texas. Hint number 3, was a part of a trade that sent Danny and Caleb to Chivas USA. Hint number 4, jersey number 13.
Luke.
Go ahead, Luke.
Ryan. All right, there you go.
Mike Lahoud.
It is indeed Michael Lahoud. And
Wow.
hint number 5 was first name Michael. Michael Lahoud was that player. And it was funny, when I was doing this and everything, I had Michael Lahoud was going to be the first player I gave you guys, but thank goodness I left Michael
That was a
Lahoud as
tough
the
one.
last
Yeah,
because
that was tough.
the hints were definitely really, really hard there. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, you guys are staying silent here on hint number 4. So But Luke, wow, what a comeback, because you got the last 4 questions correct, and that gives you 17 points, with Ryan getting 13. And Ryan, man, I mean, that is tough, because you were on a roll. You absolutely killed it in 5 and 25. You killed it in true and false. You got the first question right in naming the Union player, and then Luke got hot out of nowhere. Just where did that come from, Luke?
I just like to make it dramatic.
Absolutely. Now, will your brother be able to do the same against Michael Thomas?
I doubt it. And Mike sounds like a heavyweight too. So I don't know if AJ has what it takes.
Absolutely. And Ryan, yeah, I thought you were definitely a favorite again for this competition, because your YouTube channel, Talk Doop with Ryan, I mean, you've done so much great content with that, and you're always on top of your Union knowledge. And like I said, I mean, you were just hot from the beginning until the start of Name the Union player, and then Luke, like you said, wanted to make it dramatic.
Yeah, I gotta say that's not my strong suit. That last category. I think I went out on that one when I played against Rich in the last season. I was folding under pressure. So respect for the comeback. That was pretty impressive.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh man.
Here's to season 3. Maybe I can get my act together next season.
See, I know AJ and Luke are definitely going to want to do teams for season 3. So if Luke is that good at guessing the Union player, we'll see what AJ can do. But as things stand right now, if we do teams in season 3, I think Luke's definitely going to carry AJ.
I think I agree with that, but yeah, I don't want to bear him too much. But I'll see how he does against Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Maybe I'll pick Ryan as my teammate though.
Oh, there you go.
I think we have a good balance. He is
of course,
yeah. Ryan's great with the first 2.
You got the name of the player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, AJ, you might have to look for a totally different teammate. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is, I think, even after season 1, this is the most intense game I think we've ever had. And I can't say enough of it. I mean, you guys just listened to it. I mean, it was looking one way, and then it just completely went the other way. So congratulations to Luke, and thank you, Ryan, for coming back. And I'm definitely getting you back on the podcast to talk about some Union news whenever we get that. But before I let you guys go, can you go ahead and let everybody know where to find you on social media? And we'll start with you first, Luke.
Yeah, so just at Doopybrothers. That's just me and AJ's account. But that's where you find me on Twitter.
Yep, that's awesome. Simple as that. And Ryan, where can people find you?
So I got my YouTube channel, Talk Doop with Ryan, and also my Twitter at Talk Doop. That's all I got right now.
It's not too bad. I mean, both of these guys are making Philadelphia Union content, and great stuff. They've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and you love to see people stay with it after all those years. So keep up the great work, Luke and Ryan. And if you guys aren't following the podcast on social media, follow at Free Kick Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out the website, thefreekickpodcast.com, wherever you get your podcast information. Episodes of The Free Kick, Todd Lewis. And like I said, congratulations, Luke, for moving on to the round of 8. And I'll definitely keep you posted on a season 3, but I'll definitely have you back on the podcast sooner rather than later, Ryan, to talk about some Union news.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for having me on again. It was fun as always. So like I said, congratulations to Luke for the win. And yeah, hopefully we can get some Union news soon that we can all discuss.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.